When we talk about global health and development, we must look beyond the borders of rich and poor nations. For decades, people have divided the world into two parts, the developed and the developing. But this view is outdated. The world has changed, and data proves it. When we look at the numbers, we see that most countries have made enormous progress in health, education, and income. The old picture of a divided world no longer exists. I have spent much of my life collecting and sharing data about the real state of humanity. What I found is both surprising and hopeful. 50 years ago, most people in the world lived in extreme poverty. Child mortality was high and life expectancy was low. But today, the majority of the world's population lives in middle-income countries. People are healthier, children survive, and women have access to education and family planning. These are not opinions, they are facts supported by data. Global health is not only about hospitals and doctors. It is about clean water, sanitation, education, and equality. When a girl goes to school, she learns not only to read and write, but also to make informed decisions about her health and her children's future. When a country invests in clean water, diseases like cholera disappear. And when families have access to electricity, they can store food, study after sunset, and live with dignity. One of the greatest misunderstandings about global development is that progress happens only in rich nations. That is not true. Countries like Bangladesh, Vietnam, and Ethiopia have made tremendous progress in reducing poverty and improving health. They have done this not through miracles, but through steady improvements, small steps driven by data, education, and innovation. We must replace old stereotypes with facts. The idea that the West helps the rest is outdated. The world is converging. Today, children born in many low-income countries have the same life expectancy that children in Europe had just 50 years ago. Progress is real, but it is uneven. Some people are still left behind, and our responsibility is to make sure that no one is forgotten. When we look at data with curiosity instead of fear, we see hope. The world is not getting worse, it is getting better in many measurable ways. But progress is not automatic. It happens when we combine knowledge, compassion, and hard work. The data shows us the direction. It tells us that human lives are improving when we focus on what matters most: health, education, and equality. So let's challenge our assumptions. Let's look at the world as it truly is, not divided by outdated categories, but united by shared human progress. The story of global health and development is not a story of despair, but of possibility. The future depends on how wisely we use what we already know. Data does not just tell us what has happened, it gives us the power to create a better tomorrow.